Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to play with the Poison Ivy Milan Rowe palette. This was gifted to me by Senia, Adventures of Senia here on YouTube. She is my PIC and thank you so much for this palette. I'm super excited. She knows I love some greens. I have not watched any kind of reviews of this palette or anything like that, but I have heard that this has gotten good reviews and bad reviews, and maybe more towards the side of bad reviews. So I'm excited to try it out for myself because everybody likes a different formula, a different something something. You know, is it a bad formula? Does it perform bad? Or is it just a preference thing? So that's what we're going to figure out today. I know that even if this is a gift, even if I get PR, I'm always going to tell you exactly how I feel about the makeup that I'm trying on, and it will be my true and honest opinion. So if this is something that interests you too, just keep watching. So you guys are all zoomed in.
You're welcome.
And we're going to get into this palette. It looks like this here. I'm going to put the shades up on the screen so I don't have to keep raising the palette. And you guys seem to really like that, having that shade up there. What I did notice on Nikki's video when she was doing it is that the particular palette that she was playing with, the shade in the palette was completely a different look than what it looked like on the eye. And so that's why I was like, oh, I really like that because the picture's right there and you can see it being applied to the eye and see if there's any difference with what is in the palette. So that's super important because that is one of my pet peeves, because when I see a palette, I'm already thinking of looks and combinations, but whenever I put the shade on and it's a surprise, then I'm like, oh, now what do I do? So, all right, let's get into this. And I think I'm going to have to use the glitter because I have seen looks on Instagram and stuff like that that I've seen with this palette also. And I haven't seen anybody use the glitter. So who else better than the Debutawn Justice and Glitter for All chick should probably be putting it on her eyes. So we're going to do that today. And we're going to go in with, I think I'm going to try like a halo eye. I haven't done a halo eye in a little while. So I'm going to pick up some product on my brush and I'm just going to pack. This is kind of like a bluish gray tone shadow. And I'm going to kind of take it out a little bit further because we're going to kind of build on that color. And I want to use a few shades before we get to the center with the glitter halo. So again, oops, I'm going, not today, Batman. Okay, so I took up that little darker, let's see here. That one kind of sheared out. See, and you can see the skin below it. So these may be more of a blending shade more so than a packing. And I like to pack my shadows. So there is a possibility that this is going to be more of a blending palette. I wasn't going to go that dark, but do you see? It's not really, I primed my eyes before with an eye primer, but I'm not sure about that. And watch, I'm taking more of that darker. And I'm just pouncing it. See if we can build it up. But the ivy by itself was not behaving. Okay, let's leave it alone. I'm not going to keep touching it because I'm afraid that I might still continue to remove that color. And then let's just get away from that. Well, no, I have to take it in the inner corner. So I'm going back in with the ivy, and because I'm doing a halo. So I'm not going to want to build too far over. So the ivy is kind of a grayish blue. It's definitely a sheer matte, so don't expect it to build too much. It's going to be, I mean, it'll be really pretty if you like a real sheer look. And then I'm going to go in with, but what I'm afraid of, I'm going to look up at this mirror real quick so I can make sure that I'm not getting it too far over. What I'm afraid of is if It's fine if it's sheer. We just don't want it to be patchy. It's probably a little too thick for this inner corner, but I'm just kind of packing and adding so I can keep adding to that area. This is going to be a little bit darker than what I was wanting it to be. I was really wanting it to be like that lighter shade, but it won't build. Okay. And this might, I don't know what kind of, like I said, I like to have my own opinion, so I don't really know the issues that were being said about this palette, but, or what shades or anything like that. So maybe this is something that somebody else has found out with this palette. I'm not sure. Okay. And I'm not going to get this perfectly because I will go back in and rebuild. But I'm afraid of is that it's kind of wearing off. It's almost like it just disappears. And I'm not saying blending in and disappearing. I'm saying it just is like evaporating. You see? Like that was all built up right there. Where it just like, you build it up and then it's like it goes away. So I'm not really sure what's going on here. Okay. I think that's going to be as good as it gets. Maybe I need to add just some, I'm going to go into the shimmers. We're going to quit playing around. I'm going to go in with Jewel Weed. I'm going to use the same brush that I wiped on. Yeah, that bothers me. It's already, do you see that? It's done. That's disappeared. You see? So here's the shadow in this whole area I had built up and it was dark and now it's gone. And this it's doing it right here with this side. It's doing it right here with this side and right there. That is staying so far. So I'm going to go in with my finger and I'm just going to tap over so I can just maybe salvage this with some different colors. Let me just go in with green. I'm gonna go ahead and put that shimmer on the other side like I just did. Just add it a little bit because I'm gonna go in with some green mattes. All right, I'm starting to err on the side of maybe there is some issues with this palette, but let's keep moving. You know what doesn't have an issue? The artwork. Artwork is by Doodles by the Bunny, and she's amazing. Artwork is amazing. Take a flat brush. I'm going to add a little bit of that green shimmer over top where it's wearing off. See, now there's fallout, but there wasn't even fallout before to where I could say, oh my goodness. We're going to start over. I'm going to take this eye look off. I'm leaving this in. We're going to start with the greens. So when I get back, I'll have this removed and we're going to do, because everything is falling off. So yeah, I'm going to use a different primer. I'm going to use the primer that I normally use, which is the ABH eye primer. So when I come back, instead of having more of a moisturizing primer, eye primer, I'm going to use, because this is kind of in between. This is my favorite to use, is the ABH, because it's not super moisturizing and it's not super mattifying. So it's just kind of in the middle. And so this is the one that I usually will use with all my palettes that I'm getting brand new. So I didn't do it today. We're going to take off this eye look. I'm going to come back in with the ABH eye primer because this is my tried and true. This is what I know works universally. So we're going to come back in with this one here and we're going to play with some different colors. We're not going to play with Not Today Batman or the Ivy this time. So I'll be right back. Okay, here we go for round two. So I'm going to play around with the greens. Maybe I'll put the brown. I think I'll do the brown and then we'll layer the greens inward and then do a halo eye. So
wish me luck, guys. Here we go.
I'm going to go into Don't Be Rash. It's promising. So far promising with the brown. I'm looking over here so you guys can see what I'm doing with my brush on camera a little easier. Okay, so far, so good. All right, maybe brown is redeeming this palette. It would be sad if two of the shades don't work in it, though, because it's only a 14-pound palette, so it would be sad if two of those shades don't work. At least you would know, and if those shades are not the shades that you care for, then it still might be something you want to look into. I'm going to go in with a little bit more precise brush to take it in to do my inner part of the halo look. Okay, I always connect my halo, but sometimes I do it later in the eye look. I never leave it open. For my eye shape, it does not look good. I do see some eye shapes that do halo looks that are open that do look good. You just have to go based off of what looks best on you. Okay, a little bit fell out whenever I was pouncing. Okay. All right, we're going to go in with these darker green shades, and we're going to see how well that marries in with that brown, which I'm not really sure because, or even why that brown is so red, because typically you would do more of a darker, cooler tone brown, but I'm just going to pack it on there. Okay, I'm going to keep moving forward, but these shadows are not wanting to layer. I'm going to keep moving. I'm moving forward this time. We're going to stick with this look. So, I mean, this green does have a little bit of warm tone to it. It's not a super cool tone. This is a frustrating palette, just saying. Okay, I'm going to just leave it like it is. I'm going to add a little bit more green on that other side. Okay, take a little bit of that brown. I'm going to have to connect it so I can see what I'm doing here. And I'll blend that out more. I don't like how these shadows are even laying on the eye. It is just, it's a strange formula. It's a strange formula. Okay, let's see what this one does. I'm going to go in, I'm going to wet my brush. Ooh, I dug into that. It's the thing I haven't done yet. And I'm going to take this shimmer and just cover up that green matte. So I'm not liking how this is layering, looking. I'm not going to start over, but I'm going to keep messing around with this look until it gets to form into something that I can appreciate or halfway feel okay wearing. So I'm going to go in and wet these shimmers because honestly, I just, put it on my finger just to see what it looked like on my finger, and it was lackluster. So I knew that I needed to spray it. Around, and I'm going to blend this, trust me. I am just kind of laying the foundation. This is how I do my looks. I don't do them super blended right away and just keep blending. What I do is I lay it all down and then I'll go back and blend and add and go back and forth. I have a little scar right there, so it is going dark and then kind of wearing away there, but that I always have that scar there, so it's always going to look different in that area, but I am seeing some of that brown wear off. I'm just going to take it like that there for right now. Okay. All right. Well, that shimmer looks really good when it's wet. All right. So there's that. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and go in with my Too Faced glitter glue right in the center because we're going to pop some glitter in there. And then we'll go back and we'll add and blend out. But when I say add, I mean I add in color, blend, and get it to the level of sheerness that I'm wanting without taking all the color away. Okay, now I'm going to go in. I'm actually going to go in with my little applicator. I'm going to give that a go. And I'm going to look up. That way I can try to pay attention to putting it just right there in the center. Yeah, that's very pretty. Okay, if we can get that brown to cooperate and blend out correctly, then we might salvage this look. The glitter is beautiful. It has multicolors, so it's just looking green. but it has like orange and blues, gold, silvers. Okay, so I do like how that worked together with the glitter and the shimmer. So I am going to go and I'm going to try to see what we can do with the brown because I'm really not liking how that is laying on the eye. So I'm going to go in with Allergy Season. It is more of a cooler tone, but I'm going to see what we can do. Maybe blend out, and I don't know if I should even do that. Well, okay, it definitely blends away. Like, do you see how quickly that blended off my eye? Literally just went like that and it blended away. That tells you something about the formula of the mattes. It shouldn't do that. There's something going on with these shades. I'm not sure. I really don't know what's going on. Honestly, I don't think I've ever been able to remove eyeshadow like that before by just blending it that quickly. I mean, it's gone. So now that that's gone, I just so crazy. Odd, odd, odd. Let's see if we can add. I haven't tried New Leaf. Let's try to just add some New Leaf. Some green leaf right in there, like that there. Let's try to do it in the inner corner and keep that halo look going. So far it's staying. It's not really going everywhere where I want it to stay. It's just kind of strange. But okay, that's doing okay. All right, let's go back into Allergy Season and take that out here and let's just see what it'll do. Allergy Season just really isn't even showing up on my eye much. It's quite... Okay, I'm going to go in with Not Today Batman. I know that's where we started out. But I'm going to just try to add just a little bit of depth. Right here, I'm really scared to use this. Okay. Oh, it's wearing away. This is just so strange. I'm trying to layer it over top of the other shadow just to see if that will allow it to build, since it won't do it by itself. For layering okay, it's still kind of coming off patchy. I know you can see the patchiness. Okay, I'm just gonna keep, it's like it won't even let me blend because it'll blend patchy. So it won't let me pack, but it also won't let me blend because the minute I start moving it, it goes patchy. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another brush and I'm going to layer another shade just to see what it does. I'm going to go in with Calamine, which is a minty color. And it disappears. It won't even show up, but I do have a little bit of olive tone to my skin. Oh, that just is nothing. The shimmers did well when I wet them. The mattes in this are awful. Just going to leave it the way it is. I'm going to go in with Jeweled. I'm going to take that up on my brush. We're going to try to do a halo look with shimmers instead of the mattes. Shimmers also need to be wet. I'm going to save you from watching the review at the end. I can already tell you I've used just about every shadow in this palette. I would not recommend spending your money on this palette unless you want it for the packaging alone, because the packaging is absolutely amazing. And so if you want it for the packaging, go for it, because I know that a lot of people do enjoy collecting palettes for packaging. At first, I thought I would be able to say if you are a blender, you would enjoy this because these shadows are, more sheer and that you can blend them really well. But I can't say that because when I move the shadows around, they get patchy. So I am now having to go in with the shimmers. I'm having to wet them and take it over top of the mattes because these mattes are unworkable. I'm just going to salvage this in the best way possible. I have other filming to do today and I just want to be okay with this, this eye look. Literally the shimmers will blend away just almost as easy as the mattes. I have not tried the golds. There's kind of like two different tones of gold. I'm going to go in with the lighter one. We're going to take that on in also. We're going to do that in the inner corner, and we're going to brighten that up. We'll spray it. Oh, that's pretty. That's a pretty gold. That over a little bit because I wasn't expecting it to be such a powerful pigment. Do you like that? Not my typical halo eye, but we're just trying to make this work. Okay, I think what I need to do is I need to call this as good as it gets. I need to pop off here. I'm going to drag something in my, you've already seen these perform, so you'll know what I'm doing off camera because I'll let you know how it performed underneath with the mattes being wet. And so I may have to just do an all shimmer bottom. I know there's a lot of fallout on my face. I'm going to clear this all up. I'm going to come back with a full face. We're going to talk a little bit more about how the rest of it performed to see you at the end of this to go over the complete review. So I'll see you in a few. Okay guys, this is my final look, and I feel like I salvaged it, but it doesn't take away how I had to come to the point. I even worked on it some more off camera, so I'll just kind of fill you in exactly what I did, but I do like the finished look, but there is no mattes showing on the upper lid. And then when I went and took underneath the line here, I wet the mattes and they did stay. So I did use on the underneath side, I did go into Not Today Batman, and I got the pigment on the brush, and then I wet it with setting spray, and then I took it up in here like that there, and then underneath, and it worked. So wetting the mattes will work as liners. So if you have this palette already and you're like, I can't get this to work for me, use the shimmers, do an all shimmer look, come in with the mattes and wet them. They do work underneath. So I also used Ivy League here, wet right in there, and then I used Pistachio, wet also in right there. Then in the inner corner, I took IV back up and I wet the brush and put it in the inner corner. So that's what I did off camera. Also, I didn't just wet the shadow and put it underneath. I also put this green liner first, then wet the shadows, then layered that over top. I can't forget that. This is the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Eyeliner in Gotcha. Then I decided to go in with blue. I did use Chaos in the Urban Decay 24 eyeliner, and I made it super thick and even brought it out of the waterline just a tad. And then I took it one step further and I used blue mascara on the underneath side. That's on the lower lash line. And I do like how the overall look came out. And I know that I could replicate this look with many other palettes that do work the way that they're supposed to. I am wearing blush with the Physicians Formula Miss Butterfly Butter Buddies blush. This does smell like the butter bronzer, so I do love this blush a lot, and I love the color. It's very, very pretty. And then on my lips, I am wearing a Sephora Cream Stain in 40. So you guys, this was an adventure. We're not going to win them all. You know, they're not all going to be, you know, exactly what we thought they were going to be. I would say if I were you, I would skip this palette. Just being honest. Unless you want it for this amazing packaging. It's so pretty. I love the packaging. My goodness. Okay, so yeah. So this is my final look. I do like how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you guys all have a blessed day. Take care. Bye-bye.